Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. This is L3's News Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy Mango, South Florida. And today's date is Wednesday, June 12th, 2019. So let us begin. Good evening, folks, or good day, wherever you're at. Thank you for tuning in. Just get some time off here. I do some working as usual. But as the name of the game, and I make a living as well. So I am at Downtown Saloon, located at 10 South New River Drive East, in the heart of downtown Fort Lauderdale, along New River, by the courthouse and all that good stuff. Old school facility. Been here for a long time, about 25, 26 years. And it was a speakeasy distillery, or whatever you want to call it, during the Prohibition times. About a 1926 hurricane as well. Very historical facility. Has a lot of character. Has a great amount of character here. You'll be hearing folks in the background cheering and going, because Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals between St. Louis Blues and the Boston Bruins. I got some Blues fans out there that are going up in arms, but hey, I like sports, it's entertainment. I've been a big hockey fan for over 40 years. It tells you how old I am. That's all well and good. Yeah, so I want to be talking a few things here, and I'm going to go on gun control once again. I've always been very pro-freedom as a whole. So, this one here, just checking my emails, and this one came from bearingarms.com, and it says here, Norfolk, Virginia City Council to vote on gun control resolution. Came out today by Tom Knighton. And as it reads here, in the wake of the massacre at a Virginia Beach municipal building, which we all know is a firearm-free zone under Virginia law, the neighboring city of Norfolk is considering taking action. While Virginia Beach was awful, the city is also experiencing plenty of more everyday sort of violence. The City Council is considering passing a resolution calling for gun control within the state in a misguided effort to curtail that violence. Norfolk City Council expected to vote Tuesday night on a resolution to support a special session. Governor Ralph Northam is convening to address gun violence. How about violent crime? Remember those buzzwords I was telling you in the past, my friends? Just to get your attention. Buzzwords. Gun violence, and gun violence. If it was fist violence, that's okay. It's not all attractive enough for the news media. We can't put too much fear in it. It's not fearful enough. So I'll continue on here. Police Chief Larry Boone said more than a dozen children have been shot in the city in 2019. Boone said he's cautiously optimistic about the governor's new law. Yes, so we can control all the minions in my town, even though the police aren't obligated to protect them. Right, Police Chief Boone? Prove me wrong if you dare. This has been discussed many times. We have not been able to cross the goal line just yet. I hope this time we'll get some progress in the name of tyranny. Boone said if not, we'll be doing this again, whether it's the shootings that happen across this station or in Hampton Roads or a mass shooting. They are all equally the same. They have an impact on human life. It impacts us psychologically, and we can do better than that. Yes, by punishing people that have firearms. Condemn those that will purchase it. Make it tougher for them. Hallelujah, Police Chief Boone. That tells you how much of a man you really are. Sounds to me like Chief Boone is using gun rights as a scapegoat to protect his job. Of course, he's a government fanatic. Is it possibly him and Scott Israel, former or suspended Scott Israel in Broward County, are some buddies in symbolic sense? We'll continue on. No, I'm not saying he's doing a bad job. I don't know one way or the other. I know that the murder can be difficult to police against. It just takes an instant, and if an officer isn't in eyesight, it's unlikely they can do anything about it. Even then, they're often unable to prevent such an act. Yet, if violence is much of a concern, there's a great deal that probably can and should be done in a mitigate way. But that's not what's being considered here. I'm quite sure what happened in Virginia Beach is playing a role, while people here in neighboring city and think of a vast distance as part of Virginia is nothing of the sort unless you've been there. It's difficult to understand how can you miss what city you're in at any given moment. Virginia Beach, Portsmouth, Norfolk, and others are all intertwined. It's not difficult to imagine that Norfolk feels this almost deeply as Virginia Beach. Despite that, pushing for gun control is the wrong way to approach this. It always has been, What's happening in Norfolk is a tragedy, to be sure, but additional gun control isn't going to resolve it. What Boone doesn't go into is what activity leads to these shootings. That's important. If these are criminals with criminal records doing the shooting in the first place, what additional laws can be brought to bear? We already know criminals get guns via the black market. By definition, the black market doesn't comply with gun control laws. So what do people like Boone think should be done? I'll tell you what it'll be. They want restrictions placed on law-abiding citizens who have done nothing wrong and aren't planning on doing anything wrong, all in a misguided effort to curtail the actions of people who aren't going to follow those laws in the first place. Typical. And it's true what Mr. Knighton has to say. We all know technically the police aren't obligated to protect an individual, including the Commonwealth of Virginia. As that, you know me, I don't go police bashing, just giving you the confounded truth. When are these folks are going to learn? But remember, it's government. They believe in recycled junk. Alright? And I just take the initiative on reading this resolution in Norfolk. So I'm going to narrate this to you. Plus, all this will be in my footnotes as well, like everything else I'm going to be talking about today. This came out June 6th. Norfolk Office of City Attorney. To the Honorable Council, City of Norfolk, Virginia. Is in reference to resolution supporting the Governor's 2019 Special Legislative Session to address gun violence in the Commonwealth. Dear ladies and gentlemen, attached, please find a resolution supporting the Governor's 2019 Special Legislative Session to address gun violence in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Respectfully submitted. Bernard A. Pishko, City Attorney. Yep, an attorney is something for smarter than everyone else. So we'll continue on here. And this is the resolution supporting the Governor's 2019 Special Legislative Session to address gun violence in the Commonwealth. Whereas, in communities throughout Hampton Roads, the lives of hundreds of residents have been lost to the epidemic of gun violence. And whereas the council recognizes the immeasurable human, social, and financial costs that gun violence inflicts on families and communities throughout the United States and the Commonwealth of Virginia, to include children. Typical tyrannical governmental buzzword, do it for the children. Members of its most vulnerable communities, visitors to houses of worship, which many of those states don't have laws in the books, folks, that firearms aren't allowed in the houses of worship. Should that be the religious organization's decision on that? Not the government? Yeah, think about that, my friends. I will proceed. public and private employees in their workplaces, and whereas all citizens of and visitors to the city of Norfolk desire to live, worship, work, play in safety and security and without fear. And whereas employees of the city of Norfolk desire to serve the citizens of the city of Norfolk and others who enjoy its civic, recreational, arts, cultural, and entertainment facilities and in safety and security and without fear. And whereas the council supports the enactment of legislation to curtail the availability of guns to children and the mentally ill. See? They believe they are smarter than responsible parents. And the mentally ill? Some of those NIC background checks didn't work. Do you remember Nicholas Cruz, who was declared mentally defective? Mentally defective, excuse me. And even the state law of Florida, the people weren't allowed to own firearms in those conditions. It failed. I will continue on here. And prohibit the modification of guns and other firearms for no legitimate purpose, and ensure the safety and security of all persons in their schools, workplaces, places of worship, and other places of a public assembly. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Norfolk, Section 1, that the Council, in consideration of foregoing in light of the best interest of the City of Norfolk, Virginia, and the general welfare and safety of its citizens, hereby supports the Governor's 2019 Special Legislative Session to address gun violence in the Commonwealth, to enact common sense safety laws. Yeah, could we say tyrannical platform? How dare you say that? That's so sensitive. So what? Section 2. The Council authorizes and directs the proper city's officials to take all necessary actions to present this resolution, together with any supporting documentation, to the appropriate General Assembly members and their Commonwealth officials. 3. That this resolution shall be in effect from and after the date of its adoption. Yes, we support being controlled. Norfolk believes the people are owned. Their numbers. The question is to the council, the City Council of Norfolk, and City Attorney Fishko. Can you explain to me how does that supersede Article 1 of the Commonwealth's Constitution, entitled Bill of Rights? This is what it has to say in the Bill of Rights under the Virginia Constitution. Balpedia.org. Great site, folks. I like the preamble here. The Declaration of Rights made by good people of Virginia in the exercise of their sovereign powers, which rights do pertain to them and their posterity as the basis and foundation of government. This is what Section 1 has to say. Equal rights of men, that all men are by nature equally free and independent and have certain inherited rights, of which, when they enter into a state of society, they cannot, by any compact, deprive or divest their posterity, namely enjoyment of life and liberty, which means of acquiring and possessing property and pursuing and obtaining happiness and safety. 2. Section 2. People of the source of power. People of the source of power. That all power is vested in and consequently derived from the people. That magistrates are their trustees and servants. And at all times amendable to them. That means you serve the people, not vice versa. So, we go down a little bit further here. And it will be actually Section 9. prohibition of excessive bill and fines, cruel and unusual punishments, suspended habeas corpus, bills of ascertainer, and ex post facto laws. So I'm not going to go too crazy here, but I could go right down here. The public safety may require, and that the General Assembly shall not pass any bill of attainder or any ex post facto law. That means prohibited laws are null and void in Virginia. So, now go down here. Article Section 13 says here that a well-regulated militia composed of the body of the people. Militia, stating armies, and military subordinate to civil power. Okay, I should put that as a title. I repeat again, that a well-regulated militia composed of the body of people trained to arms is proper, natural, and safe defense of a free state. Therefore, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That standing armies in time of peace should be avoided as dangerous to liberty, and that in all cases, military should be under strict subordination and governed by the civil power. So, you want to reduce gun violence, you want to make it tougher for people to own farms, you got to tell big businesses how to do their job. And many of these firearm facilities are damn good at what they do. But they want to make this a control state. But it's invalid according to so far. And I'll just hit down Article 17, Section 17, construction of the Bill of Rights. The rights enumerated in this Bill of Rights shall not be construed to limit other rights of the people not therein expressed. So, to support the gun violence legislation session and the Norfolk City Council resolution is negated, invalid, null and void. Toilet paper qualities, wipe your rear with it, and flush it down the toilet. People should look at their communities. What is happening in places like Norfolk and Virginia Beach? They have crime issues? Of course. Richmond too. Many of these cities. But why they want to do things the incompetent way, the lazy person's way? It's just nothing more than a cheap nickel and dime Band-Aid you get at a thrift store. I'm not here being a gun fanatic like that, folks. But I'm pro-natural rights. And even in the Virginia Constitution, Article 1 is self-explanatory. With all due respect to these elected servants in Norfolk, Virginia, and the governor within that Commonwealth, you can't do a damn thing. You're null and void. Furthermore, don't breach your oath of office. You're incriminating yourselves by making that statement and his resolution as well. Yes, we either got to start respecting our neighbors, loving one another the best we can. I'm not saying it's easy, but we can all do it. Things take time. How about the drug war? I bet there's a lot of these areas are drug related. A lot of these disturbing shootings and massacres and so forth. And how about Big Pharma? Should be challenging them. Because what you're doing can be considered treasonous under your own constitution. Something you need to look at. Scapegoating is for cowards and wussies. So the Commonwealth of Virginia need to look into the bigger picture. Let that sink in. If you believe you want to trust the government on protecting you, if you read the Bill of Rights, Gotta defend yourselves and your families at the best of your ability. And respecting, looking out for, and working together with your neighbors when things do occur, civil unrest. It can be done. So be vigilant to everyone in that beautiful state. I do love the scenery in Virginia. I've been through this so many times. I went to the Panhandle, lower Southwest Panhandle, going through West Virginia, and I enjoy it. It's a very attractive state. Keep it that way, even your spiritual perspective. So, shoot it down, folks. Any legislative sessions and so forth is null and void, unconstitutional or illegal. That's it. Enough of that. All right, so the next one here, I want to be reading from The Mind Unleashed. Came out yesterday. And it says here, hackers stole facial recognition data of U.S. airport travelers. Trust us, we will take care of you. So as it reads here, and who wrote this? The Common Dreams. You know, I'm going to give the thumbs up too. As it reads here, one of the key fears that critics of mass surveillance and proliferation of facial recognition technology have warned about has been realized with new reporting Monday that a malicious cyber attack has resulted in photos of airport passengers and other personal data harvesting by U.S. Customs and Border Patrol being stolen by unknown actors, according to the Washington Post. Custom officials said in a statement Monday that the images, which included photos of people's license plates, have been compromised as a part of an attack on a federal subcontractor. I'm sorry. The agency maintains database including passport and visa photos that is used at airports as part of the agency facial recognition program. CBP declined to say what images were stolen and how many people were affected. But CBP makes extensive use of cameras and video recordings at the arrival halls of international airports as well as land border crossings where licensed vehicle plates are also captured. CBP statement said none of the image data has been identified on the dark web or internet, but reporters at the Register, a British technology news site, reported late last month that a large haul of breached data from the firm Perceptics was being offered as a free download on the dark web. The CBP did not want to confirm which private subcontractors was the target of the attack, but the Post were able to track down that it likely was Perceptics. And of course, there's some stuff here on Lizzie Barrett and all on facial recognition, and he's laughing, of course. And I like when it says it's so funny. Like it says he underlined it on his Spreaker page. CBP would not say which subcountry was involved, but a micro-word document of CBP's public statement sent Monday to Washington Post reporters includes names Perceptics in this title. Perceptics representatives did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Here's a bombshell. Evan Greer, Deputy Director of the advocacy group Fight for the Future. Fight for the Future. In response to the reporting, even if you 100% trust the U.S. government with their biometric information, which you shouldn't, is a reminder that once your face is scanned and stored in the database, is easily shared across government agencies, stolen by hackers, other governments, etc. BuzzFeed also among the first to report on the breach Monday noted that the cyber attack comes amid on the ongoing rollout of CBP's biometric entry-exit system, the government initiative to biometrically verify the identities of all travelers crossing U.S. borders. As BuzzFeed News reported, citing earlier reporting, BuzzFeed pointed out that CBP is scrambling to implement the initiative with the goal of using facial recognition technology on 100% on all international passengers, including American citizens, in the top 20 U.S. airports by 2021. Well, You have a flaw, you goofed up, and you want us to trust you. In the name of the war on terror, give up your freedom for security. Don't worry, you're in good hands. Good grief. That's one thing I gotta say, folks. Meek and unmeritable. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! We gotta do things the tyrannical governmental way. You know, come on. Oh my goodness. And it says here, and I'll go down here, and it says, the breach comes just as CBP seeks to expand its massive face recognition apparatus and collection of sensitive information from travelers, including license plate information and social media identifiers. That's ACLU. And hey, they're right. In a statement, Neem Giuliani, a senior legislative counsel at the ACLU, said the compromise of passenger data is a great example of why privacy and civil liberties groups continue to warn about facial recognition and the electronic collection of other personal data. This breach comes just as CBP seeks to expand its massive face recognition apparatus and collection of sensitive information from travelers, including license plate information and social media identifiers, said Giuliani. This incident further underscores the need to put the brakes on these efforts and for Congress to investigate the agency's data practices. The best way to avoid breaches of sensitive personal information is not to collect and retain it in the first place. And of course, Charles C. Mann has to say, it's a total surprise that absolutely nobody could have predicted the federal government's new facial recognition database is breached just months after deployment. In an opinion appears ironically at the Washington Post just hours before the news story broke, titled, "Don't Smile for Surveillance, Why Airport Face Scans Are a Privacy Trap." Columnist Jeffrey A. Fowler warned that even as U.S. consumers become more accustomed to facial recognition technology, such as using your face to unlock an iPhone and other devices, what happens when a government agency or airline captures such an image at the airport is something entirely different. When you lock an iPhone, your face scans never to go to Apple or even leave your phone, explains Fowler. But in eGate, your face gets captured by the airline, then compared with the face of database run by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, which reports back whether you're cleared to board. The big difference, however, is there needs to be some cross-verifications of any face the system at the airport is trying to match. Where do you come from, writes Fowler? From the State Department, which gathers the shots from passports and visa applications. Well, I gotta start laughing. And it just blows my mind how some of these individuals still buy it and want to leave all their security eggs in the hands of the state. It proves one thing now, my friends. Like I've been saying this for a very long time, you never trust the government, period. Study your history is just a very prime example. And go further to all their foul-ups, screw-ups, and going, trust us. You got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide. And you know what? So what? Is he going to use 9/11 as an excuse? Give him a penile microphone, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not saying it in a sexual harassing way. This is why, when stuff like this, Homeland Security, I never supported it because I knew what they were about. After 9/11, the war on terror is a conflagration with ourselves. The one is against the citizens, the people of this nation, and beyond. Every high-tech gadget has a flaw. I know one thing for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if people have like gadgets that will counter facial recognition. Okay? don't be surprised if that can be used. This is why I'm against these things. I oppose it. I'm opposing the body scanners, etc. And even the Transportation Security Act, TSA should have been done already. 3 years. But we know more than you. I say, evict all these individuals. Evict them from our airport, including the Fort Lauderdale Airport, which is owned by the county. No more excuses. Get it done. All right, one more here. And this came out today. And it's a very disturbing article. And it pertains to the war on journalism. Everyone talking about Julian Assange. This one here about David Goldberg. David Goldberg killed after the Iran war in October leak. And it was by Glenn Kennedy from Before It's News. But I did verify it, so he did pass. And there's a video on here. I posted several stories from a man calling himself David Goldberg, who had a YouTube account here. This man is now claimed killed while his friends claim that they're in possession of government documents. Is this true? I don't know, but it needs to go viral because if the war hawks like John Bolton really plan to go to war with Iran in October, it will be disaster and Trump will lose all his remaining support. I stumbled upon this David Goldberg information quite by accident. Very few in alternative media even pick up the story, even after it went viral on beforeitsnews.com. I believe David Goldberg has sources because he came out with information regarding the U.S. readying 100,000 troops to be used in the Iran war. The information came out over a month before it was reported in the mainstream media. Now his YouTube videos are all taken down except for one that says he was found dead. Here's more information. There's a link for that, and I've read it. And I continue on here. Has the man, David Goldberg, really been killed after seeing a strange vehicle stalking him, or did his man exist at all? It's possible this person could have created this David Goldberg identity to put out real information, then decide to disappear before things got too hot. Either way, because of the accuracy of this previous video, I take the last video he be put out very seriously. I wish I would have the same videos, but luckily I summarized everything he said it below. He said in his White House source that the Iran war would start in October for sure, and they would begin massive propaganda for it in the next few months. Here's a write-up from the last David Goldberg put out before he died. I sure wouldn't bet against the war hawks wanting to start a war with Iran in October. And it says here David Goldberg goes over his latest information on the Iran war. David's sources have been exactly right on their information. He reported 120,000 troops being sent to counter Iran a month before it was reported in the New York Times. So there's a lot of stuff here. Here's some highlights. More troops increase for Iran. Iran war will be announced in the coming months. The Iran war is totally fake. This has been planned for years. There's no threat from Iran, of course. War is scheduled for October. They will continue ramp up propaganda. The White House says this Iran war will happen. It could start World War III since Iran has great war fighting capabilities. Remember, they're in terrain. The citizens are sheep, and they know nobody will stop them. That's why they told us about 9/11, the TV show, The Lone Gunman on Fox. They have tell us that they are going to do so. You will see more predictive programming through the summer for the build-up to the Iran war. So, folks, pay attention to that. And I say hands off Iran. I'm not crazy about their government over there as well, but the people in that nation should decide for themselves what they want. We should not get involved, period. If John Bolton and his lackeys want to attack Iran, including Rudy Giuliani, throw their asses on the front line. That's it. Let's see how tough these clowns are. Tired of their weak, pathetic loudmouths, know-it-alls, assuming we're all just a bunch of peasants and peons and treat our troops like a bunch of programmed dummies. Tired of it. It's a sham. A monumental deception, folks. Throw their rear ends on the front line. Hands off Iran. No war in Iran. No World War III, and hell with their New World Order. That's the fact. And that's all I gotta say for tonight. I thank everyone for listening, plus feel free to download and share through social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or if you said something interesting you want to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondence with decorum. Plus, I will leave my social media sites, email addresses, and all the footnotes on my Spreaker page. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that the maniacal resistance is helpful for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.